Viewers, Meghna and I will now take you through a massive disclosure. When justice is denied, punishment is not meted out, viewers, then perpetrators of a crime have no incentive to change their ways. A culture of impunity and entitlement takes root. Perpetrators are emboldened to continue with the atrocities. That's precisely, and let me just go straight to the pictures. That is precisely what is happening. Kashmiri Hindus are still being targeted and in some cases even being denied their basic rights, even their right to pray.
Absolutely, and it's not just a genocide. It doesn't just end there. Till date, there is atrocities which are being committed on the Hindus in the valley. In fact, a property in Kashmir housing an ashram which is adjacent to a temple revered by the Kashmiri Hindus but occupied by a Muslim family through an allegedly illegal sale. In fact, in 2011 and 12, the scene of the latest travesty is when it played out. This temple was open for the Hindus to visit and offer prayers, but ever since then, a Muslim family has occupied this property. Access to this temple has been denied periodically, and today was one such instance.
Eventually, Kashmiri Hindus who had gathered here today were let in after the state intervened. The question then is, if the right to prayer of Kashmiri Hindus can't be guaranteed even today, then can they be assured of their right to life? That's the fundamental question, viewers, as this travesty continues to unfold. The problem is, and I want to go straight across to Ishan, what you're seeing are pictures of this particular temple. Look at the barbed wire that surrounds the compound. This barely looks like a place of worship. It looks more like some sort of garrison. And I want to bring you in, Ishan. This was quite the scene today of a bit of a standoff. You had the state that came, eventually intervened, opened the gates, and we've had activists since the morning who have been tweeting in relief. Just talk us over what we're seeing, what happened.
Trust says that there is a property which has been illegally sold by a brother of a lady who hasn't been able to visit Kashmir Valley for at least 22 years. And when she came to visit Kashmir Valley, she found out that a property that belonged to her, that's her claim that it belongs to her, has been sold to a local person here. And that is when she tried to approach to the administration saying that this sale is illegal and it's a property that she has inherited from her grandmother. And she gives certain, the family structure they were in and the people which have passed away, and given the Hindu rights, she says, quoting them in those papers, that yes, this property belongs to her and the sale made by her brother, is not valid. But the case is still pending. There is a court order then because the trust moved to the court seeking permission to pray in that particular premises, because this is just adjacent to that trust where a gate is there which leads to that particular small temple on that particular property, which they say has been stopped. In 2013, we saw J&K High Court saying that the party can go there, they can pray and wish to do so. Then for some years, they were allowed to do so, but trust says that after certain, unrest in Kashmir Valley, followed by the COVID lockdown, they could not perform those rituals which they used to do every year. And then, what happened is that now, since they want to do it, the gate has been completely closed, and they were trying to have negotiation with that person, which actually failed. But we have also spoken to the advocate of that person who represents him in the court. He says that after the initial order by the court, there was another order passed by the court which stopped the previous order, and the trust did not later on appear before the court, which was led by Justice Magre here in Srinagar. They did not appear, so the ball is in their court. So they blame the trust for not appearing before the court and say that there is a court stay on this particular thing, and that is why they cannot be allowed. But today we saw that officials and police came to the spot. They they made sure they spoke to the person. His advocate was there, but they clearly refused opening the gate, saying that since the matter is sub judice, it is still in the court, you'll be violating such orders if you open the gate. But the government went ahead, they opened the gate and cleaned the pathway, because tomorrow is the day when they will be holding this prayer. Now, it's an interesting thing that is not only limited to that particular area. There are certain incidents in the past as well where we have witnessed the similar kind of thing happening. But now they say they have approached that particular portal which was launched by Manoj Sinha, the Lieutenant Governor, wherein they have put their documents, but no response has come from the government so far. But one has to see that whether the government will be able to provide them any relief, because the person who has owned this land says it's his land and there is his right, and the court is the matter is in the court, but the trust maintains that the sale has been done not through a proper channel, because the land does not only belong to his brother, it belongs to the women as well. So she is also the rightful owner, because she had no clue about the sale of the land. So that is why they are saying that sale is illegal.
Well, this is very complicated, obviously, viewers, and one has to be, of course, careful. We've been speaking to some Kashmiri activists, and Aarti Tikku, who is also a journalist, joins us. Aarti Tikku, thank you for speaking to Times Now. You've talked about the temple of Ishwar Ashram, set up after the Shaivist Guru Swami Lakshman Ju being under siege and devotees not being allowed to pray there despite a 2013 High Court order allowing them to. What was your basis to say that this place was under siege?
Well, the fact is that since the death of Swami Lakshman Ju, the temple within the premises of the ashram had remained closed. So for last 31 years, it was closed because there is apparently some land issue with somebody who is the occupier on the premises. And therefore, some people, some devotees had gone to the court asking about opening up the temple, at least for devotees. The land issue could, take years or whatever, but the fundamental right of devotees to visit temple should have been restored. So the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir, in its 2013 judgment, actually gave a verdict in favor of the devotees, saying that whatever the status of the land, aside, the right of the devotees to visit temple should be granted. But even after that court judgment, devotees were not allowed to pray in that temple. And there were barricades, and it was almost like a siege, because many people attempted to go to the temple in all these years since 2013, but none of them were allowed. So finally, today, in fact, I want to express gratitude to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's office. I want to express my gratitude also to the Home Ministry of India and to the LG, Mr. Manoj Sinha's office, who actually clearly made an effort after I tweeted about it, and the temple was open to devotees. And this is after 31 years. So it is, in a way, a historic day. It's a small step for Kashmiri Pandit community and for their heritage, which has been neglected. Much of the heritage that belongs to Kashmiri Pandit community has seen a lot of destruction and also seen complete neglect. Now, this is for the first time that, this small temple
Meghna,
of
before you go back to Aarti Tikku, 1 second, Ms. Tikku, just 1 second. I just want to step in here. This is very important. What we are seeing here is really a degree of disregard. I am not getting into the matter, it's sub judice, but it doesn't take very much for individuals to accommodate a desire from another community. We've seen it in Ayodhya for 150 years, where the state had to step in and grant right to worship to one particular community. And here again, we have this. I'm not trying to draw parallels here at all, two very different issues. But again, it is a property dispute. The fact is, viewers, that for such a long time, the state itself has held Kashmiri Hindus in such disregard that the message that is percolated down to everyone is that their rights really don't matter. You can easily trample over them. They don't have a voice. They have no court of appeal. That's really what is happening.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Ms. Tikku, if I can come back to you. So we have a report from the New Indian Express. It is dated 31st of May. It was way back in 2014. And that one explicitly talks about Priyanka Gandhi having visited this concerned temple at that time. However, if there is an excerpt, we're going to read out that excerpt from the article also. And I believe
Priyanka officials admitted then visited Swami Lakshmanju Ashram on the banks of the Dal Lake in Srinagar, where she spent another 2 hours before leaving for the airport. The fact that the private temple visit was not entirely kept under wraps was seen as a preparation for a soft launch of the Congress president's daughter in politics. If this report is true and to be believed, Ms. Tikku, presumably there was access to the temple if Priyanka Gandhi was able to visit.
Well, clearly, maybe this access was specially meant for her and not for general public, because I know for sure that a lot of Kashmiri Pandits were trying their best to have this temple open. Now, mind you, there's a difference. Lakshmanju's ashram and Ishwar ashram and this temple, they're different, they're different entities. Ashram is separate and this temple is separate. So this temple was closed. And the issue was that people did not have access to this temple. If Priyanka ji went to this particular temple, then quite amazing. Why? I mean, I haven't seen any pictures. Perhaps you could do some research and find out if she really went to this particular temple. I have posted the pictures of the temple wherein there is a goddess Kali statue, an idol there. If she went to the same temple, I have my doubts. I haven't seen any such pictures of Priyanka going to the same temple.
So thank you so much, Ms. Tikku, for joining us. Of course, as we were just discussing here, it's not just a land dispute. There are other issues also which are going to be looked into, the legality of it. But what's important is that in 2013, there was a court order which allowed Hindus to go and pray. However, that was obstructed. And that has been the problem. In fact, one of the trustees of this temple, one of the people who wanted to go and pray, was stopped. He has spoken to Times Now. This is what he has to say. Listen to his appeal.
हम रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से थ्रू दिस मीडिया कि इस प्लेस को, प्लेस ऑफ वर्शिप को यात्रियों के लिए, डिवोटीज़ों के लिए खोला जाए, ताकि जो बाहर दूर दूर से हमारे डिवोटी यहाँ आश्रम में आते हैं पूजा पाठ करने के लिए, उनका कोई दिक्कत ना हो।